Hello, 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 hello. Oop. I'm here on a Wednesday. I don't know if anyone's going to show up because we're at an odd time and we're at an odd day. But I'm cooking something. I figured cooking something weird, so I figured I would jump in and just do it with anyone who cares to show up. I just noticed a spider in the corner over there, so I'm going to take a second and remove said spider while I'm thinking of it. Okay. So, yes, one of my friends is hosting a Fallout themed thing for watching Fallout, and we're having Fallout themed foods. So I'm going to go ahead and make a couple of things. Obviously, the ingredients they use in Fallout aren't real ingredients, they're fictional, mutated future ingredients. But that shouldn't stop us. You've seen this kid before. Oop. He's leaking a little bit, so good thing I'm going to use him. This is our old friend, the breadfruit. I'm going to use this as our stand-in for a Tato, even though it looks like a mute fruit. Because Tato is supposed to be a starchy fruit. And that's what breadfruit is. I've also got some of these, which look like Tato, but they sure don't fit the bill for what they taste like. We've seen these once before. These are Tamarillo. They are related to the tomato, but they are not a type of tomato. And they actually grow on a tree. I vaguely remember what they taste like. I thought they looked the part, though, so I've got that. And we're making Mirelurk cakes, and what better way to make mutant crab cakes than with not crab, good old fake crab. Tasty stuff, doesn't taste like crab. Otherwise, yeah, it's gonna be pretty simple, and and this is going to be simple, but it's fun, and we have seen this before, and I had to get it out of my freezer because we're trying to clear stuff up. And because he was suffering a little bit of freezer burn, we're going to also have to take a close look at it. But, Tyne, hi! This is going to be my stand-in for Iguana on a stick. Hi, Tyne. Welcome, welcome. We're not usually here on Wednesday. I don't know if anyone's going to show up, but you showed up. You are here. Hi. I also have a hard out today. We have a hard deadline and we have to hit the road because I need to arrive to feed this to people at another location. So I can't faff around too much. I also don't want to cook it too fast and have it done too early because then it'll be cold. So I think we're gonna prep everything and do cold prep before I get the heat rolling so that I have a better handle on when things are going to be done. So it's going to be a little bit odd where I kind of jump between. But let's pop over to the countertop. You can see on this side, our alligator got a little bit freezer burned. That side looks fine. This side got a little bit freezer burned. So I'm going to pick through those when we get that far and see how they look. It's all thawed. Since it's all thawed, now I actually have to use it, so we're going to use it today regardless. This guy also came frozen, and he thawed pretty well. There's an unusual amount of airspace in there, which I was not expecting. This stuff is all the same, though. I can't imagine there's anything different. Step one, though, this guy. We've had troubles with these before where I try to cook them too fast and it doesn't work. So we are step oneing this guy. Get him done. So that I don't run into a problem of it's not done when I need it to be. Oh, these things sure do look like a big old mutant fruit, though. Hitting the bottom of that core. There you go. Ooh, that one's got a really brown core. Possibly to what to do with the ripeness. This is, it has a couple different names. I call it breadfruit, as it is in English. It's also known as an ulu. It is the fruit I'm using as a stand-in for Fallout's Tato. Even though it doesn't look like a Tato. Just because it is a starchy fruit, and that is how the Tato is described. Although the Tato is supposed to be described as also tasting awful and or like watery ketchup. This is a kind of a small one. They come bigger than this, but not like too much bigger. I think the biggest one I've ever gotten was about yay big, like a bowling ball. But I've also gotten really small ones, like a softball. This one's sort of in between the sizes. I'm going to cut that little. I'm going to get a smaller knife to get around it. I discovered this. It's not common in the U.S., at least not common in my part of the U.S. My local grocery store started carrying these, and I was so intrigued that I had to try them out, and I absolutely fell in love with them. So I go back and get them a lot. And we're going to just take that. We're going to cut it this way. We're going to take that core piece out. You can't eat that little core. And you can't eat the skin, but the skin comes off much easier after it's cooked. I mean, the core probably would come up pretty easy after it's cooked too, but eh. I wish I lived where these things grew, because then I would have them all the time. As it is, they fill the same culinary role as like potato. It's a big, dense starch. Because they're tropical and have to be shipped in where I am, they are noticeably more expensive than potatoes. So they're not really a staple around here. If I lived where these things grew, take a little bit more of these. Also, if you don't like holes, if you got that tryptophobia, watch out, because they got these little holes in the inside where the seeds go. But I'm cutting away a little bit more of the interiors just to make sure I've got the seeds out. The seeds are so small, I don't think that you would even notice them, but I'd rather err on the side of getting rid of anything that people might think is ew, weird. Because again, I'm serving this to some people, so I have to be a little bit mindful. Can't just go completely crazy. Dump those parts. They do have a little bit of holes in them inside. We're gonna boil these sections. Which means we need a big pot of water. I'm going to boil them now so that they're cooked, because I'm planning on grilling them later. I should have put the water on first while I was cutting. The little tiny holes are just where the seeds go, though. I guess I won't show you real close-ups of it. We're actually going to set the chunks aside. I will take the skins off later after they are boiled. because I have tried skinning them before, and the skin is a little tough before they're cooked, and it doesn't want to peel. If you could get at it with a peeler, because of these little scales on the outside, it doesn't want it to come off in peels. All the little scales want to separate, and it makes it really hard to do with like a potato peeler. Okay, step 2. We're going to get this gator out and take a look at it. I'm not sure why it freezer burned on this side. There must be just like a oh, there, I can see it. There's the tiniest little micro tear right there that air got in, and that's why it freezer burned. Well. This is that gator that I got under mysterious circumstances a while back, and it has been frozen all this time. And I just look at it a lot and think, I should do something with that, especially as this little freezer burn patch on the front started to develop. We should do a swapsies. Since if we're dealing with meat. Yeah, okay, it doesn't look, it's been frozen, so nothing's like gonna be wrong with it, but it's gonna be a little bit weird discolored there. It looks really nice in this part. If I recall, yeah, these are like chunks all packed together. So we're gonna, oh, there's a little bit of ice, we're still in the middle. We're gonna pull these chunks and we're gonna see. Okay, they're pretty big. We can cut these down. We can probably trim off some of the discolored bits from the freezer burn. Oh, that's actually all. Nope, it's not too. Okay, yeah, I can, because it's supposed to be this nice pink, not this slightly grayish color. The slightly grayish color is where we're lost a little bit to the freezer. So I'm just gonna cut those away. Yeah, it's very surface deep. That one already looks perfect. Okay, so yeah, the slight discoloration, no biggie. We will just, it would be edible too. I'm just cutting it away for appearances wherever it is particularly egregious. It should be just the tiniest little trims, honestly. That one's fine. That one has just a smidge on the edge over here. That one, that one's all on one side. That one's going to be a little bit trickier to trim. That one's the most discolored one. That's probably right where the little cut was, so it got it first. But it's still only skin deep. It's like, well, not skin deep. There's no skin on this, but very, very surface level. Oh, that's tendon. I'll just cut that away while I am at it. That might be why that part discolored. If it was a little bit of a gristle. Let's cut right through that bit there. A little bit of a gristle on that. Okay. Hopefully that tenderizes as I cook it. I'm not gonna save those bits. They're going away. So, what's everybody doing on a Wednesday? I'm never here on Wednesday. It's so weird. I'm committing to using this alligator for this because it's the closest thing I have for the theme. But now that I'm using it, I don't know where I'm going to get this ever again. This was such an odd circumstance that delivered it to me. None of the local stores carry it. It was just weird happenstance that I stumbled upon it and received it. Oh my goodness! Well, happy birthday, Mini Tine. 10 years old. That's time to be a Pokemon trainer. Time to leave home and join the legalized animal fighting circuit. No, the story behind where I got this meat is they had 2 packages of it at my local grocery store in the freezer section with no price tag. And when I asked how much it was, they tried to ring it up, and there was no record of it in the system at all. So I talked to the guy at the butcher counter, and I talked to the guy at the manager of the store up in the front, and they said, just take it. They don't know where it came from. They don't know who it belonged to. They had no idea how to price it because there's nothing like it there. And they just take it. So I just took it. It was free of charge to me. Somebody, no doubt, paid. I suspect that it was a special order that the person who special ordered never picked up. And it was probably just being stored, and it got put out by mistake or something. I don't know. Nobody knew whose it was or where it came from or how much to charge for it. So that is what happened. That's the ugliest looking one. Most of them look pretty good, actually. Even the little bit of freezer burn discoloration. It probably would disappear in cooking as well. I'm just hedging my bets. And I'm not losing very much to doing this because it is such a thin layer. Gonna have to dry this stuff off as well. It's very juicy, and it will not cook right if I leave it super juicy. I'm a little worried about some of these connective bits. I hope they soften up. Gator body was dumped at the local market, possibly. Because I'm nowhere near gator country. This is not something we normally find up here in the frozen north. I would not know where to go to find it if I had to find it on short notice. I also would not know where to go to find iguana meat. I know that's a thing you can actually get. I just don't know where. This piece is definitely the ugliest piece. Because remember, this is our stand-in for iguana bits, which are a Fallout staple somehow. I mean, it was a joke. And if you ever played Fallout 1, it wasn't really iguana. Originally, it was called Iguana Bits. Oh, I dropped the towel. I'm probably gonna need a lot more towels, so we're just gonna bring that over here. My water is starting to make noises back there, which is a good sign, Okay, the last time I tried reptile meat, it was like chickeny catfish. Where did I put my knife now? Oh, these chunks are bigger than I want them to be, so we're going to cut these down. By about half, I think. A couple of them might be even thirds. I imagine, I know you can get gator in Florida and in Louisiana and Mississippi. You can probably get iguana in Florida as well. They're not native, I think. I think they're invasive. Green iguana is invasive in Florida, I'm pretty sure. Which means go ahead and eat them. Oh man, I want to try, speaking of invasive species that you can eat, I want to try lionfish. I hear those are tasty, and they are an invasive, so you can eat them as much as you want in the US. No bag limit, you can just go and get them. My water is audibly boiling behind me, so that one's already a good sized chunk. So is that one. So is that one. So is that one. Okay. The water is audibly boiling behind me, so I'm going to lay these out real quick so that I can pat them dry before I rinse my hands off, because I'm going to rinse my hands off. Boil our breadfruit. We're going to get some of the excess moisture off of the meat here, and then we're going to lightly season it. I have to be a little bit mindful of spice. I know there are going to be some people who do not have a good spice tolerance, so spicy spices have to be on the side today. Popping over here. There was no real reason that guy had to be in the back, but that's where I usually do my big boiling pot so that I can do something more exciting up front here. Okay. Return to the meat. Yep, it's a wet one. That's for sure. We're gonna get out a fresh bowl. Just kind of give each of them a little squeeze with the paper towel, a little hug. They're still going to be plenty damp to have spices cling to the surface. I just don't want them swimming, so that we have a chance when we come to cooking them of them cooking properly. I like that they're already in like irregular chunks, which is how the iguana on a stick, I should say the iguana bits, because originally it was iguana on a stick, but it was visibly chunks of unidentified meat. And that was the point. But then later, it got differentiated into there being an iguana on a stick and iguana bits. So what we're making is iguana bits. Well, it really soaks through these. Oop. Turn our boiling water down a smidgen. We don't want to overcook the. We actually can afford to overcook the breadfruit a little bit today, on account of I'm going to hit it with dry heat afterwards, which will force off some of the excess moisture that it can pick up from overcooking, from overboiling. You don't have to boil it. It's so versatile. You can pretty much do anything you can do with a potato with it. Maybe not grate it. It's a little bit hard in its raw form to grate, but you can roast it. You can boil it. You can mash it. You can stick it in a stew. Isosceles. Hi. Welcome, welcome. Oh my goodness, a new person whose name is long, so I will have to return. That is not chicken. But thank you. Dylan the Old Man. That's a good name. That's a good name. That right there is not chicken. But welcome, welcome. Hello, hello. Give my hands a wash. We're gonna... Oh, there's somebody else in there too. Everybody's coming in. Dry. Selena. This is the iguana bits. This is our Mirelurk, which I'm also going to prep. Although I want to get our dry spices on our iguana bits before too much longer. Yeah. No, I got it. I got it. What this is actually is alligator tail pieces, which is the closest thing I have to iguana meat. On account of it is the only reptile meat I have. Oh, and we have an ad. I will see you on the other side. You probably can't hear me saying that. I need a bigger bowl for this tossy toss. Okay. Oh, I've been thinking about redoing the ad. Well, I'll talk about that in 30 seconds when the ad is over. Okay, we do need a larger bowl for the next part, so we'll get that out. Right meow. And let's get into our Mirelurk. Oop. With the scissors. Scissors? Scissors. You are back. This stuff, I did just wash my hands, so we are not cross-contaminating here. This stuff I thought would be an excellent stand-in for mutant land crab. Mirelurk is not like an identifiable thing. They're slightly different in every game. They're always some kind of land crustacean. And I'm just going to kind of flake this stuff apart with my fingers into little bits. I could have gotten regular crab. First of all, this is a lot cheaper than regular crab. I could have gotten regular crab, but I thought, in addition to this being a little bit more economical, it's probably more accurate somehow to use this industrial fish product. If you're not aware of what fake crab is, imitation crab, it's super ubiquitous. You'll find it in sushi places all the time. It's just pollock. Well, it's any whitefish, but it's usually pollock because pollock is cheap. And it's essentially made the same way that chicken nuggets are, just out of fish. So it's fish scraps cooked. I'm losing little bits of it off over the top. It's cooked fish scraps combined with a binder so that it will stick together. And then they use a machine to kind of extrude it out. And then you can cut it into whatever shapes you want. And they often do these like chunky flakes to mimic, I'm gonna eat one of those. Chunky flakes to mimic like pieces of crab meat or the long sticks. It's really tasty. They put some flavor in it too, probably. Sometimes I hear people talk about it like, ew, what is it? Well, it's chicken nuggets made out of fish. And I'm just, yeah, we're just going to kind of shred it apart. It's real tasty. I should look on the package. I know that the color, the red stuff is added color. The fish itself is white. Yeah. Maybe like Spam. Spam doesn't have any binders in it, really. This stuff has at least some binder added to it because the fish mince doesn't want to stick. And if you make chicken nuggets at home, if you've ever made your homemade chicken nuggets, first of all, don't. Real chicken nuggets are made out of trimmings and scraps because it's really cheap. Don't waste good, solid pieces of meat on it. But they have to put something in there, usually egg, just to make it stick together. Pollock and or whiting, sugar, 2 chemicals, Water, starch, starch, rice wine. Interesting. It's slightly sweet. Because they put sugar in it. I didn't realize they put sugar in it, but they totally do. Probably because crab meat is slightly sweet, and they're trying to go for crab meat adjacency. Oh, it does leave your hands a little bit sticky. I might not have wanted to do that whole package, but I guess we'll just make these extra meaty rich. I also have an idea, especially since it is a little bit sweet. If we put blue-green coloring in it, sorry, just looking at my breadfruits over here, and I need to pull one and give it a test for doneness. If I put blue-green coloring in it, we could call it Mirelurk. Okay, how tender are you? Not incredibly. I'm gonna let them roll around a little bit longer. I have never worked out the timing for boiling breadfruit. I just do it by feel. We don't need the board back. We're working in the bowl. So this is gonna be the main thing. We're doing two things, and this one I think is gonna be the larger of the two things. Where's those breadcrumbs? I had to buy breadcrumbs because I don't have enough dry bread because my bread doesn't go stale because I haven't made my own bread in a while. So plain breadcrumbs. Brand new container. Which we should be judicious with because that already has some binders in it. We don't want to go too hard. It also needs some flavor. It already has salt and some sugar. It needs an egg. Oh, and it needs a tray because we're going to shape them into little patties and lay them out on a tray all at once. The breadfruits back there are trying to sink. Let's see, I have a recipe for imitation crab cakes, which is what we're making. And it's for a strange amount, 8-ounce package of imitation crab. How much did I have? I have a conversion table because I never know. Those are all volume conversions. How many ounces are in a pound? Is it 12 or is it 16? I always forget because it's stupid. Ounces in a pound. 16. Okay, so we have double this recipe, so 2 eggs. Yeah, okay. I might actually need a bigger bowl. If I add that much extra to it. Eggs. Mayo. Ooh, almost dropped that egg. You know, I need a yolk. We're going to use this one of these giant eggs that came in this package. I'm going to use the whole egg. We're going to save that yolk because I need a yolk. for something else we're making today. I think that the breadfruit is probably done enough. It's all sank. So we're just going to slide over and... Yeah, I don't know why that one is enormous, but that one egg is just twice, like twice the size of a normal egg. It's huge. It might be a double yolk. Okay, we're going to pull our breadfruit from our boiling water onto our board and just let it cool off a little bit so that we can get the skins off. Yeah, I don't know. I buy ungraded eggs, so they're irregularly sized. And I guess sometimes that means you just get a gigantic one in the mix. Do I need the measure for this? I don't think I actually need the measuring spoon. We'll use it as a guide, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4 tablespoons, which is just it's just easier to do it that way. Pinch of salt, a couple of grinds of pepper, not too much. I know it seems really light, but we're just a couple of grinds of pepper. It says Old Bay, and I literally have Old Bay here. What's in Old Bay? Spices. Ooh, helpful. Paprika, celery seed, red pepper, salt, sugar, caramel color. I'm not using Old Bay. I am using my own... Oop, you're over there. You need to be over here. I'm using some smoked paprika, some onion powder, garlic powder, let me remind myself what's sumac. Sure. Some sumac. I need a bowl to catch my egg. That did not work. Okay. We want to save the yolk of this egg specifically. It might be a double. If it is, we'll save both of the yolks. It is not a double. It is just a giant egg. It's just a lot of white. Oh, and it broke the yolk. Okay, well, that's the end of that separating. Okay, well, I broke the yolk, but I got it mostly separated before I broke the yolk. So probably fine. Unless I can separate this one perfectly and just save the yolk. Because the yolk is actually the same size in each of these. That other one just had a ton more egg white. And the egg white is what you want in the crab cake anyway, because that is the part that is the binder that we're after. Yolk is a binder too, but it's not nearly as good of a binder as white, as albumin. And actually, I think we are managing to keep this one intact. So I'm going to go ahead and dump that one. Peel away our albumin. And we have a, except for that little nugget of, I forget the name of that thing. You know, the little wispy thing that comes in an egg. There, okay, we have one good yolk, which is what I was looking for. And the other broken yolk can go in there, and it was just about the same size. So we're good. Interesting. I was almost sure. Now, double yolkers are usually more long than thick, but that one was so big, I thought it was a good chance of it being a double. Oh well. Seasoning. We're not putting in green onion. That's a decision on my part. This one wants oil, but the oil is not for the mix, it's for the frying. Make patty. Yeah, okay. Perfect. Just washed my hands again, because I do that a lot when I'm working with everything. I'm going to get this wet stuff combined before I throw my bread in there, just to get all of our flavors and all of our wet parts evenly mixed, since I didn't mix anything in advance. Okay. Okay. And the part that's gonna be a little weird. Get this out without spilling it. Nope, can't do it. Can't be done. Clean my hands off with my other hand so that both hands are dirty now. Should have done that with a spoon. Not the cleaning off, the stirring. Because there was no reason I couldn't have done that with a spoon. It wasn't going to bind up the way a dough does. But it was going to stick to my hands. And wouldn't you know, it did exactly that. Okay. Hands once again cleaned. We're getting a spoon. I'm adding color to this. We're making Mirelurk. Which means it has to be this unnatural color. Although I'm not adding any other flavors to it, it's still going to taste the way it was going to taste. A couple of drops of food coloring. Someday I will find that natural blue dye in a place where I can actually get a hold of it. It is called blue spirulina. That would have been a perfect addition to this, actually. Would have given us that crazy color, without having to use a chemical dye. I'm going to slightly underfill that. The thing says 2 cups. We're going to slightly undershoot it so that I can add more if... You can add more if there's not enough. You can't take it out if there's too much. And we don't have any more crab to work with, so it would be liquids to offset it, which is not ideal. Hopefully, it's not too dry already. We could always throw another egg in if I think it needs more binding. I don't have a Whole Foods, so I cannot get Whole Foods stuff here. Also, it's not just spirulina. I can find like the dietary supplement spirulina. Blue spirulina is different. It's like shockingly blue, and you can use it as a blue dye. But I don't have a Whole Foods, so. Okay, let's see how sticky this stuff has remained. Can I? I don't know if it tastes weird like spirulina. I haven't been able to find it. I know that it is a natural blue dye. I've seen it. This stuff is not going to stick together, which means we need to add another egg. Okay, well. 1 more egg. The thing said 1 to 2 eggs for a 1 recipe, and ours is about double the size, so we could throw another giant egg in. So 3 eggs is probably just about right. I don't know what spirulina tastes like. I don't have any experience with it. It's a thing I've seen on the internet as a like natural blue dye, you know. That yolk broke too. I guess these big ones just don't want to stay together. They break their yolks. Okay. That is hope. I need a bigger bowl. I need the bigger bowl. We need to upgrade to the large bowl. I overfilled my bowl. Oh, there's a bunch of dry breadcrumbs in the bottom still. That's not good. That's not ideal. That means it's really underbound. Part of the problem is probably that the no, it's starting to get sticky. Stick to itself. Part of the problem here is probably that the imitation crab, the surimi, is itself kind of a dry ingredient because it's already cooked. You would normally do this with raw crab, which is got a wetness to it. can I pull a handful? Fallout is a video game that has recently been turned into a TV series on Amazon. And the video game features quite a lot of food because there's a survival element to it. Hi, Bookwoman. These are going to want to fall apart, I think. I think I'm going to struggle with these trying to fall apart as we go. But some of my friends have organized a get-together for the new show, and we're bringing Fallout-themed foods. And this would have been better with panko. Are these too thick? Are these too thick? They're not going to contract much. So I probably have to really kind of press them out flat. They are definitely sticking. That extra egg was just what we needed to make it stick. If you're wondering about, if anyone has just arrived and you're wondering about the color, what we're making here is Mirelurk cakes. Mirelurk being first of all Mirelurks, which are radioactive mutant crabs, but then Mirelurks are Mirelurks that have been exposed to Nuka-Cola Quantum, a glowing radioactive soda from the Fallout universe, which caused further mutations and made them glow this unearthly blue-green color. Because, you know, the Fallout universe is kind of a horrifying place. And then over there, we have our iguana bits. Oop, and we have an ad right now. So I added a little bit of food coloring to our crab cakes here so they would have this horrifying color. And we're going to shape these, and then we're going to set them aside. And we're going to switch back over to our Iguana Bits skewers. Get all of these ingredients cold prepped. Honestly, I have tons of time, so I don't want to cook them too far in advance. I wasn't sure how long this was going to take, so I've given myself plenty of lead time. I might cook a sample so I can taste test them rather than cooking them all. The surimi is certainly, I think, causing a little bit of a hassle with trying to shape these. It's so chunky compared to a shredded real crab. And the fact that it's also kind of dry makes these not want to hold really well. That's probably one big one. Yeah, gonna be just one. I could sugar them. If we're making Mirelurk, probably a bad idea. Just sugar the outsides of them before I cook them. That one is the worst one. That last one was the worst one. Okay. Dry my hands off. Clean my work surface off. Okay. We need another bowl. Should have put well, I used the small egg. I used the small dish for the egg because I wanted to make sure I had it separated. But I'm going to need the egg in here with some garlic. Oh, before I do that, before I move on to egg time, we have two things here to deal with. Iguana bits and my Tato stand-in, which we still need to cut away, but it'll cut very easily. It's pretty tender, and it seems cooked to me. It also does not seem waterlogged, which is a concern when you boil it. Little blemish there. We'll get rid of that little blemish there. Oh. Yes, I did. Fallout is a video game that has recently been turned into a television series, and the party is just a get-together to watch the show. The show has been getting mad praise. Which I'm honestly kind of surprised. Video game adaptations into TV and movies don't typically have a good track record. It is not real iguana. I don't know where to get real iguana. What I do have is alligator. Also, hi, Rayuya. Oops. Gonna flake my... I wonder, actually, I haven't tried doing it with a peeler after it's cooked. It kind of works. Probably about as easy as the knife. So yeah, I'm making foods themed with. We're all making. I'm not just me. I'm not the only one there, and I'm not organizing it. If you don't catch an edge, it just skates over the little scales. That's less than ideal. I think the knife is easier because you can get at these little corners with the knife. So yeah, iguana bits. Mirelurk cakes. And Tato. No, it is not a surprise. Well, I haven't announced that it's some of the people might be watching. I haven't openly announced that it's alligator. Let's see. I have to keep looking. Switch my screens here. I've had alligator before, and I've had alligator 2 times before, and I didn't hate it. It wasn't my favorite. It seems like it would be very easy to cook badly because it is quite lean and not terribly tender. It reminds me of pork in terms of texture, but like the lean parts of pork that are more difficult to cook. But you know, in the Post-nuclear wasteland, you eat whatever. I would have gotten real iguana, but I have no idea where to get real iguana. And also, I just kind of last seconded this. I was super distracted. I've been super distracted since 2 weeks ago, and I completely forgot that this was happening until yesterday. So I ran out and got this breadfruit, but otherwise it's stuff I have on hand that is going into this. And I happened to have alligator on hand, so. Okay, our fruit also needs to be chunked into bite-sized pieces. I'm going to chunk all of it. I'm pretty sure I have more here than I need. Let's throw it in a bowl. Yeah, I definitely already have more than I need. I'm not going to cut that last piece because no, I'm not going to cut that last piece. I have skewers here somewhere. Bamboo skewers. I don't need the pot of hot water anymore. Get rid of that before it I end up tipping it over or bumping it or something. Oh, excuse me. Okay. Okay, I can think about how I want to cook things. Let's slide over. One we haven't seen in a while. Got rotated into the other room because I ran out of hooks. And I don't use it very much. The grill line cast iron. Is it wide enough for one of these skewers? No, it's not. So I think we're just going to say screw it and not use it. It has been the least useful of all my cast irons. It is very difficult to clean and doesn't seem to do anything special. Okay. So I got it. We're thinking about skewer size. Maybe I do them in the oven. Do them like a roast. Because they fit here, and then I could just do a row of them. The thing is, I want them to be on these skewers. And the skewers are wider than the air fryer, even if I don't cut them down, or even if I cut it down to make one of them fit, I would just get one of them in there because the air fryer is circular. We're gonna oil them. This wants to put them on a grill. An open grill is the correct way to do this. I just don't have that. Oven. Add oven to my search. Oh, there you go. This one has an oven. Weird. It's skin on pieces of alligator. That looks like an AI image. I think they used an AI to make the image. Probably the rest of the article as well. And they want to bread it. And they want to bread it. I don't have a smoker either, but interesting thought. When I made alligator last time, I did it in a soupy stew thing. And when I had it prepared by someone else the time before that, it was on skewers but deep fried. What I really don't want to do is undercook it. So maybe on a smoker. It's an unusual meat, is the thing. I just realized that I should oil all of this before I put it on the skewer. I'm also worried there might be, yeah, like that. I think there might be some tough bits hidden inside these nuggets. But I should oil both of these before putting them on the skewers. Because it'll just be easier to oil them that way. And I need to figure out how to cook. What temperature to cook these at? Hot, I assume, but I want to cook them through as well, so... 375. Let's get that guy preheating while I assemble my skewers here. We have to oil those guys separately now because I didn't do them before, but... Oil for even heating, cooking, browning, you know what I mean. Especially important for something with something lean like this, because it won't have its own oil. Okay. So those two, I'm not taking them off the skewer. I should take them off the skewer. I really should. I'm leaving little spaces in between so that the hot from the oven can get in between them more effectively. Since I am a little concerned if I pack them too tightly, they won't cook through. Because I definitely want the alligator to cook through. We're not running like that might be a bit of a gnarly piece right there. We're not running the risk of this stuff being undercooked in the middle because I don't fully know whether it follows poultry rules or not. It's too big of a piece for the end. But actually, the ones that are oiled can just go right over onto the thing. I am going to end up brushing those two with oil. Yeah. Just to get them, make sure that they're all oiled up. I have a brush as well, so I can literally brush them. I could probably use the residual oil in the bottom of one of these bowls to do that. Yep. But I know at least some of the people attending will be game to try the alligator. I hope we don't have too many just like, nope, not gonna even taste it. Have you noticed this thing on my hand? I'm calling attention to it because I keep noticing it out of the corner of my eye. It is the stupidest way to get a scrape on your hand ever. Just the stupidest. I dropped a nickel. I dropped a nickel in between the center console and the seat of my car, and I was trying to get it, and I just abraded the back of my hand. It's the stupidest. It was the stupid, and that was it's already dried up. It's just so stupid. And it was all for a nickel. That's probably the most hilarious part. It wasn't even like important money. And to top it off, I didn't get the nickel. Yeah, it ended up falling into the glide track for the seat, and I would have to take the seat out, like just like completely remove the seat from the vehicle to get at it now. So it just lives in there. Hopefully, it doesn't make any noise. I would hate if it started rattling around. Then I would probably do something about it, even though it would be a massive hassle. Uh, I think we're going to end up just perfect with the numbers here. I might make the last skewer a little bit weird. Some of these pieces are a little bit funny sized. Okay. Once we finish skewering, we'll oil those two, put them on the tray, give the whole tray one last shot of seasoning. Because there is enough oil in the bottom there, especially if I combine it with the other one, to use my brush. I should move that before I get it covered with alligator oil. I should move both of these to the center as well before I get them covered, before I get the... Okay, we might need a little bit more to ensure that they are covered on the other side. I just ran out. Shoot, if only I'd remembered to oil them before. Okay, the breadfruit is cooked. The concern is only that the... Oh, and my oven just clicked. The oven is ready. The concern is only that the alligator gets cooked through. So we might pull it open and turn it a couple of times. Okay, that, if we flip-flop it over, flip-flop that one over as well, we can get the other side oiled. Yeah, it's a lot of oil. I want to make sure that they are well covered since they didn't get tossed. That chunk might actually be problematically big. Get them over without dripping on the floor. Success. You can join me over. What is happening there? Don't do that. My camera just decided, or my camera, my browser just decided to zoom instead of scrolling. Weirdly. I don't have any recipes up today. I have a reference just for temperature, but honestly, it's meat. Cook it like chicken or pork. Get my hands actually washed. Deal with that in a sec. I made a mess. Dry my hands off. Okay. The oven did just click, so we're going to give everybody a sprinkling of salt. And since the oven clicked, we can put them in the oven. I'm going to end up temperature probing one of the thick ones to ensure that we are cooked, but they're not too big. I guess we leave them in there for 20-ish minutes. While they are in there for 20-ish minutes, let's, on the stovetop, fry us up a, I do want a lot of oil for that. Fry us up them cakes. Let's see, and I saved that one yolk because I wanted to try making a sauce, a fresh sauce, as opposed to a pre-made. If it fails, I'm out one egg yolk, and a clove of garlic. So while that is heating up and our oven is ovening, we're going to slide back over here. We're going to look at this mess. We're going to move things around. Okay. Okay. So how's Wednesday working out for you guys? I was slightly trepidatious about jumping in, but I figured I'd give it a go. We have some new faces. I feel like if I do Wednesday, it can't, because the reason we're having our Fallout thing on Wednesday is because Wednesday is my friend's normal get-together day. So if I make something big and fancy here, then I am not participating. It's sort of an unusual case. I could make Wednesday a regular part, but I probably wouldn't be cooking, or if it was, it would be for lunch. Oh, we don't need that up anymore. Okay. It'd be a good day to get that gaming element that I have repeatedly talked about. There's our yolk and our broken other part of yolk, to which we need 1 smallish unsprouted, that's a big one, 1 big unsprouted clove of garlic, I can hear my oven sizzling, which is a good sign. Hopefully we don't dry anything out in there. Knife to cut the little nubbin away and the little sprout, because we ended up with a sprouted one. Cut it into chunks. Never cut things into your thumb like that. It is, oh shoot, that was bad. Never cut things into your thumb like that. It is bad. And then I'm also going to, I probably should not cut it up, but I wanted to break up the skin. Shoot. That chunk can't be in there. Wii Former, 100 bits? I don't have 100 bits alert. What do you want me to do for 100 bits? You tell me. Woobly doo. My hands are sticky, or I'd give you a shout out. Everybody go follow Wii Former immediately. Hi, Wii Former. What's up? Welcome, welcome. Wii Former is also a streamer. Wii Former doesn't do cooking, but does fabric craft and drawing. And I think that's it. I've never seen you do anything else. But I might just be missing out on some amazing Wii Former content. Oh no! Working overtime. Well, at least you get paid for it, right? I hope you get paid overtime. It would be illegal to not be. Okay. This thing, I'm hoping, will enable the nonsense that I am attempting. Okay. And there's going to be a little bit of salt in it. And a little bit of this. And a little bit of this. Both of which need to be ground very finely. Honestly, that salt probably should have been used as an abrasive in here because I think these might have a hard time grinding. Hi, George. I am prepping for my friends, some of my friends, are hosting a Fallout-themed party for the Fallout show. And I am bringing some delightful food items, also Fallout-themed. We have Mirelurk cakes, Iguana bits with Tato, and I'm currently attempting to make a bloodleaf aioli. And I've just thought better of using the grinder because I really want this to be a fine powder. So we're using the powered grinder here. Let me shout out George as well. My hands aren't sticky now. George does cook. Oh, no, that was me. I was making a buzzy noise. So, I don't know what bloodleaf is supposed to taste like. There is a real plant called bloodleaf, but that is not what the Fallout bloodleaf is. The Fallout bloodleaf is some kind of aquatic herb. I'm going to start a little bit of oil in there, and we're just going to kind of, I've got a powered, nope, okay. It doesn't have the oomph. It doesn't have the oomph here, so I have to do this with a manual whisk. What am I making? Currently a mess. Again, if this doesn't work, then I'm out a little bit of egg and a couple of spices, so no big deal. This that I'm currently, all the things I'm making, we have Mirelurk cakes, we have Iguana on a stick, and this is going to be a bloodleaf aioli. And what I'm substituting in for bloodleaf is hibiscus and I don't know if this is going to work. hibiscus and basil. So it should be purple. And as it loosens up, I might bring back that powered one. It was too thick at the start, so we have to use manual tiny whisk. Let's give it a test. And I've got oil heating up on the stove to fry up our cakes. This is meant to be a milk frother, so it doesn't have a lot of power. Yeah. Oh, that's not good. It got on my wall. Oh no, that's not good. Oh no, it got every. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, it got everywhere. Oh no. Oh no, it's on the screen. Oh no. That's the worst. Oh no, it's on the garlic house. Oh, we made a mess. Oh, we made a disaster. We have plenty of proteins. Oh, now it's on my spice rack. Oh, God, the humanity. If this does not come together, I'm going to toss it, and I'm going to put the basil and the hibiscus into some mayonnaise and call that good. No. I think if I had a high-powered thing, I could pull this off. But it really wants to separate immediately, which means it's not coming together. Part of it has kind of come together, but let's see what it tastes like. It tastes weird. It tastes weird. I will tell you that. Tastes a little weird. I think I'm just going to chalk that one up to a failure, and I made a mess out of it. We'll deal with that in a minute. Okay, well, again, we lost a pinch of basil. We lost like two or three hibiscus buds, and like a couple tablespoons of oil, and one egg yolk, which probably could have made my cakes bind better, but well. Speaking of cakes, that oil is definitely hot by now, so let's get a rack out. A rack and a tray, but the tray that I want to use has the uncooked cakes on it. So we get out a third, much worse tray. Okay, well, they don't all work, and that one was the least likely to work among the things I was doing today. So I'm not honestly real surprised. Okay, now we just cake our cakes. And actually, while those are, oh my God, I made a mess. Everything's a mess all the time. Ooh, they smell good immediately. That's a positive sign. While those are getting started, I'm going to do one thing with these guys, and that is give all of them a turn. Which I should be able to do with just the stick. They have not been in there the full time yet, but I'm going to temperature test the big one just to see where we are. Or one of the big ones. I've got, oh, actually, we're just about there. I've got 160 internal on that. And I'm going to shoot for 165 and treat it like chicken, poultry. So we'll give that another, I don't know, 5 minutes or so. These guys, I'm a little worried they'll fall apart. I'm a little worried that our oil is too hot. They look like they're browning quite fast. Fortunately, we don't need to really cook them super well. Our oil is definitely a little bit too hot. They are holding together. They've held together. We don't need to go nuts with them. The oil is too hot, so we don't need to go nuts with them because since we're using fake crab, it's already cooked, so that does not need to be cooked through. It's already cooked through, and egg cooks at such a low temperature, and that's the only other ingredient that needs to be cooked is egg. So as long as they're not mushy on the inside, they're also crab cakes, so they're supposed to be slightly mushy on the inside. I like that the green interior is kind of peeking through the cracks. That I think is just the ticket. Okay, my thing failed. My sauce failed, so we're skipping the sauce. Ooh, we got to pick up the pace around these parts. I need dishes to. Oh my God, I made such a mess. It's such a mess. It's awful. Everything is awful. Everything is a terrible mess. You need to be rinsed, but not really washed, because you just had a couple of dry spices in you. Turn that off, turn that off. I don't need the food coloring anymore unless I want to make funny colored mayonnaise. Let's see what the bottom of one of these guys looks like. Pretty much the same as the top. A little bit less brown on the side that was down. Probably because I brought our temperature down. With a lower temperature, we can leave them in there a little bit longer, but we have to be mindful not to soak them in oil. And I think we already may have brought the temperature down too much, and they're kind of soaking up oil. So get some of our less good-looking ones in here. I'm gonna want to crack one of those open to see what they. And I get to come home to it. Yes, I made a mess. Oh my god. I don't usually make another mess so soon after my previous mess. I usually have a couple days in between where the kitchen is in good shape before I dive in and make another horrible mess, but not this time. Not this time. Once these guys are fried up, I think we can re-crisp them on site pretty easily. So I'm not super worried about cooking them too much of them in advance. I do want to make sure that they are cooked, they're hot in the middle. What temperature does egg set at? Can somebody look up quick, so I don't have to do Googling while I'm paying attention, what temperature? Oh, we got an ad. If somebody can hear me, if anyone can hear me through the ad, what temperature does egg set at? Yeah. I guess I'm in the driver's seat. $145. I should have temperature checked those guys first when I immediately took them out. I'm not sure what we are at. The oil is running a little cold. The skewers need to come out. And get themselves temperature checked before I dry them out completely. Everything's getting temperature probed. for doneness today. Try, well, I know I want to try that one because that one was a big thick one. $150? That's cooler than you were when I checked you the first time. That doesn't make sense. That don't make no sense. What? How do these things cool off in the oven? That one says 166. The breadfruit is well over temp. 150? What the heck? What the heck? I guess put it back in and let it coast on residuals? Or, I mean, the oven's still on, so just let it coast. I'm worried I'm going to dry that meat out. Okay, let's get under this guy. Give him a... Yeah, okay, we're getting that nice brown on the back sides of these, so... They are definitely soaking up some oil, though, because my oil isn't as deep as it was for the first round. What you got on this side, bud? 104, 105. Okay, I gotta crack open one of those ones I just did, one of the first batch, and see what they're like on the inside. Is it hot? Not as hot as I was expecting. It's not steaming on the inside either, and it hasn't been out that long. Hot. Hot to the touch. Like, there's our temp. So it was probably just up to temp when we got it there. You checked it, it's 150, we're at 150. The coolest one I found, it's all sorts of weird places. Okay, in that case, I'm just gonna turn it off. Because I don't want to dry it out, because it's gonna dry out. So let's get that out of the oven. These guys I'm not sure about. Okay, I broke this one open so that we could test it. Got a lovely, horrible color. It's kind of doughy on the inside. It's kind of doughy. It needs a sauce with some pizzazz. I didn't put a lot of spice in it with the intent of having a sauce that goes on top of it. It honestly tastes a lot like our crab, our fake crab. Nice and crunchy on the outside. I'm not getting any like raw egg on the inside. So when I just tested that one, it was, you saw what it was. And that was after it had been sitting, so let's pull these ones. My oil is definitely a lot shallower than when I started, so these have absorbed. But we just took those out. So let's give that one a temperature test, see what it says when I just took it out. 135. Oh God, it's just like they're just barely missing it when they get brown on the outside. They're probably slightly too thick still. Should have done those in the oven. Okay, well. This needs a sauce. For sure. And since we had a fail of my homemade sauce, I'm just going to whip up in a container that I can put a lid on. More. It's slightly, the crab cake is slightly sweet, a little bit doughy on the inside, which, sigh. Probably should have baked them. It's not too late to bake them. Might be too late to bake them. I'm just making a quick little nothing sauce here. That's mayonnaise with lemon juice, basil, and salt. Oh, I don't need this anymore. Either. That needs something. We formers lurking. What if I press you down like a burger? What if I press you down like a burger? Okay. It's going to be a little bit of an unusual one in terms of the wrap-up taste test phase today. I have run over already because I was supposed to be out the door very soon, which means I needed to wrap up. Let's grab one of those skewers and see how those came out. I'm not 100% sold on how the cakes turned out. I think they're too thick. I think they're a little bit doughy on the inside. Let's see if the breadfruit is edible. It's dry. Tastes good though. A little bit of salt. Very bready. Retains that breadiness. Again, this needs a sauce as well. Everything needs a sauce today. The part I'm worried about, let's check the gator. It seems cooked to the middle. It's actually not bad. I do think there are going to be some gristly bits. It also benefits from our sauce. But it's much tastier than the breadfruit plain. Which makes sense because I actually seasoned it. Okay. I'm going to leave the rest of that skewer out. I know I'm not talking too much because I'm trying to... We have an unusual circumstance today and everything's kind of thrown off. Especially when things don't quite work. Flip those two back and then give them a temperature test. Again, we're not looking for like screaming hot. We're looking for, I don't know how hot, honestly. I don't. I'm kind of winging it. The sauce needs a couple things to really pop together. Garlic powder, onion powder, paprika. I'm going to go hard on the paprika. And an additional shot of mayo. And possibly another shot of lemon. It's already a little bit sour. I'll start up first. Mustard actually probably would be a good addition. I wish it was a little bit runnier. Which is good because it needs some more lemon, which will help bring it a little bit runnier. Oop, my thing smells like it's gone over. I can smell the edges of some possible burnage. So they're coming out. Tell you what, I'm going to take some of the ones that look a little bit under. And chuck them back in for a short bath. Okay, so yeah, I think the gator's done. It's, like I said at the beginning, it has a texture of pork, but the taste of like somewhere between chicken and catfish. It's really kind of an odd thing. I think if you didn't like fish, you might like alligator, because it doesn't really taste fishy at all. It's a very, very mild sort of aquatic flavor, like catfish. But it is so lean that it would be very easy to overcook and dry out. I'm glad somebody looked up the temperature for me and said, hey, it's probably fine, because any more than this, we would have dried it out. That's okay. I want hot sauce in it, but I wanted it to be accessible to people who don't like hot, so I'm not adding hot to it. And it makes it a little bit flat to me, but I guess I just have to live with that. Yeah, okay. I think we are heading toward the home stretch. Kind of an odd one today on account of the deadline. Will that fit? Maybe. With this lid, I think it will. Okay, we're gonna just start transferring stuff while we are. You hot? No, you're not hot. Okay, well, I'm gonna start talking about my end of stream spiel, because we're gonna box these guys up and hit the road with them. Thanks for coming out for this surprise Wednesday thing. I know I didn't talk about the food as much. I talked about process while I was working on it, and we didn't talk about the food so much. I think this is under-seasoned, and it really, really needs a sauce. But the cooking process on it worked great. It's nice and tender. Yeah, I'll report back on how it actually goes over with the people who are maybe going to eat it. This whole thing is a little bit dry, and it really needs the sauce. So the sauce is going to jump in and save us, I think. The crab cakes also need sauce, I think. They are on the opposite end. They're not dry. They're just kind of sweet, and they need something with some tang to set them off. Speaking of which, I put them back on the heat briefly. These are ones that we had cooked in a previous batch just to see how they... Oop! We might have gone over. Yeah, okay. I let myself get distracted and toasted the heck out of one side on each of these guys. Okay, well... Not ideal. Turn that heat off. Okay. Yeah, so, as I have said before, if I have an inspiration, or in this case, a project on an odd day, stay tuned and I'll pop in and see what I can put together. The odd thing is I'm not going to do the formal tasting and the formal plating. But I guess it just can't be helped. Yeah, so, wow, that took longer than I thought. Almost 2.5 hours. I should have started a little bit earlier. Unless anyone has any more questions, I've done our taste tests, kinda. Let me do Where'd I put my temperature thing? There you are. Let's make sure that these ones that I blasted to heck are actually over the target. They are. So we'll see how that works as well. I might have toasted those a little bit too far. Get that guy off the heat so we don't smoke him too much. Yeah, so thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for showing up on this odd day. We had almost a full crew. I'm gonna see if anybody's on that I can raid you guys off to, but then I am going to bounce. So don't count on me to stick around. Oh, you know. Okay, we're gonna go. I'm gonna drop you guys off at Everdream, who is currently playing Fallout. So it's on theme. Yeah, and then I'm going to drop you guys there and bounce. I will be back on Friday with the normal show, which I think we're still going to go for Aranciata, but I'm second guessing a little bit on account of it being another fried thing, and I just did a fried thing, and I shouldn't have too many fried things in a week. So, yeah. Tentatively, Aranciata for Friday. Plans may change if I don't feel like I can handle more fried food. Yeah, I already said thanks. We have, oh my god, just a nightmare of cleanup is going to happen. I will see you then. I'm going to go ahead and shortcut us and raid us out right now.